I'm lucky to have discovered the gym and adhered to it at such a young age where I've never had to face like really bad unfitness or unhealthiness in my life so far. There's a huge stigma behind weight, behind how much I weigh, how do I look good, how do I lose fat, how do I do all these things. It becomes this gigantic numbers game with scales and comparisons and, oh, this person looks fit, this person looks big. It's not just step one, go to this, step two, it's done. I don't have a fitness channel or a self-improvement channel to say that any one person is bad, to say that any one person is less deserving of love or self-acceptance or like improvement in any way. Like, this is not, I don't want this to seem like this is me having a journey for the sake of being like, and you have to do this too. Like, I force it upon others. That's not my goal here. Right, very, very poofy hair this morning. A very sleepy start. Not sure how the lift's gonna go today, but we got a back and biceps day lined up. We got, some good pull-ups, some good failure curls. Don't have Max with me this time, who helps me get a few extra like failure curl reps sometimes, but that's all right. Going back in the gym on my own, another unfilmed session. Because the home gym's been kind of down for a while. The little work gym that my dad's been lending me here and there to film some videos in, that's been down for the count. Just for a little bit, because I'm getting ready to take a little summer vacation. I'm very excited. But what's mainly on my mind this morning that I kind of wanted to talk about was weight. I was thinking about it these last couple days. There's really this big emphasis on weight in the, weightlifting community. But I'm not talking about lifting weights. I'm talking about body weight. I'm talking about mass, pounds, kilograms, anything that you measure yourself with, anything that you put that measuring stick up to yourself with. That's mainly what I'm talking about here, because there's a huge stigma behind weight, behind how much I weigh, how do I look good, how do I lose fat, how do I do all these things. The targeted benefits of weight when it comes to, bodybuilding, weightlifting, going to the gym. Most people are there originally for some bigger purpose, but a lot of people go to the gym for that bigger purpose of losing weight. I'm a bigger dude, I want to shed all my fat, I want to shed all these pounds, and I want to feel lighter, I want to be able to do more things. I'm a skinny guy, I have no muscle mass on me, people are constantly calling me a twig, saying I have an ice cube diet. I'm tired of the mockery, I'm tired of the jokes, my doctor says it's unhealthy for me to be this thin. I want to pack a few more pounds on, but make them healthy pounds of muscle. These are the starting points. These are the most common things why people get in the gym. Of course, there's other reasons. Some people go for performance in sports. Some people come into the gym and they're, have a strength goal of, I want to do this amount of weight and everything. But it really just kind of depends where you start a lot from weight. And it becomes this lifelong battle, because weight is something that people really struggle with. And, I'm not going to sit here and say I've never struggled with weight. I haven't had the struggles that many people have faced, but it's almost impossible to find someone who's just been like, yeah, I've never struggled with weight, it's never been like an issue or a problem for me. For me, I've never had to fight it. Any problem with weight is something I've created myself, through bulking and cutting and stuff. I'm lucky to have discovered the gym and adhered to it at such a young age where I've never had to face really bad unfitness or unhealthiness in my life so far, other than a couple spare injuries and stuff like that. But there's some people who it really is this huge thing, because it's this hurdle, it's this wall to climb. Weight loss, it commonly is referred to weight loss and stuff, but also with the internet now out, it's people are saying weight loss journeys and documenting things, and mine is a bodybuilding journey. Because all of these things, it's not just step one, go to this, step two, it's done. If you look at it, in a vacuum, maybe that's kind of how it is. But if you look at the whole picture, there's so much more to weight loss and weight gain and, managing yourself than you really think. It really is like not even the battle inside of the gym. It's the 24 hours outside of the gym where food and sleep and all these different factors weigh down on you. It's like a whole journey and battle, because it's not just that 1 to 2 hours of the day when you're working out really hard. I mean, I really stress those 1 to 2 hours and like document it a lot, talking about like, oh, I did this at the gym today, blah 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 blah. But it's not like that's the end all be all for everything for me. After I leave the gym and after I, edit my YouTube videos and stuff, I have this whole other life. And it's not defined by like weight loss and stuff, because I haven't had that problem. But weight becomes this big thing. It becomes this gigantic numbers game with scales and comparisons. And, oh, this person looks fit. This person looks big. And then there's, bodybuilding situations where like lifting weights is probably the best thing for weight control, because it actively improves your metabolism and stuff through strengthening your muscles. But the worst problem with bodybuilding is that even once you lose the weight, you become this, amalgamated creature of body dysmorphia, where you're just like sitting here like, oh, I'll never look as good as they look. Oh, I just look like, I'm just a failure in comparison to all these, and to all these great people, all these great physiques. I'll never look as good as them. And you have to break out of that mindset. It is not this thing where, weight has to define you. I know people who are over 300 pounds in like an unhealthy sense, and they're happy with their lives, because it's like, it's not what defines them. It's not people who are like, oh, hey, you're this huge, fat, heavy set guy. It's not that. They're someone happy with their lives, and there's someone who understands, okay, this is how I like to live my life. Yes, I could be healthier, but I'm happy with myself at this level, and I don't want to go through the whole gym circuits and everything. And I think there's this lost part of... That was kind of gross. I don't know if you guys saw that on the camera. A whole thing of spit just flew out. That totally shook me off my game, but I'll finish off by saying this before I go in the gym. Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like, you can't let this societal shakeup affect you, because yes, you're gonna go look at People magazine and you're gonna see this like crazy star actor. You're gonna go look at Men's Health or like Men's Monthly or whatever, and you're gonna see this ripped jack guy, full of every steroid on the planet, sitting looking back at you on these magazines. And that's good for those people, because that's what has helped them in their life. These surgeries, these steroids, these really adhering very, very, very strictly to their personal, body and stuff for the sake of movies or for the sake of, a job. That is, good for them. We need to cheer those people on, and we need to be like, okay, this is a good thing for you in society. This is how you've, kept yourself up. This is how you've supported yourself. But in the same vein, we cannot turn around and like bash people who are content in a state of like being a more heavyset person, or being a person who never works out, or da 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 da. I don't have a fitness channel, or a self-improvement channel to say that any one person is bad, to say that any one person is less deserving of love or self-acceptance or like improvement in any way. Like, this is not... I don't want this to seem like this is me having a journey for the sake of being like, and you have to do this too. Like, I force it upon others. That's not my goal here. I struggle the same way as every human on the planet does. This channel does not make me like... It makes me probably a little bit more dedicated now that I have some eyes on me. But it doesn't like mean that I'm this guru. And I think that's a problem with social media, is that like the concept of the guru, the person who knows it all. Because no one really knows it all. No one really understands it all. Everyone can say they do because they want that validity for the sake of likes. Like, I know everything. You should come to me always. I'm not going to say you should always come to me. I'm going to give you the real deal. I'm going to tell you, hey, I'm struggling. But, that's my pocket. I'm going to be like, I think everyone deserves acceptance, and I'm going to struggle very, very hard sometimes. I'm just here to show you the ups, but also those downs. I I want to show you my successes to be like, it's not all about those downs, but those downs do happen, and we're going to talk about it. So I'm looking for more ups today on back and biceps. So I'm going to go in, and I will let you guys know how it goes. Okay, really, really good back and biceps day today. I won't lie. The dumbbell rear delt rows at the end were choppy at best. Like it was very like rah, 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 like really no continuous flow between them. But that was probably just the lowest point of the lift, was at the very end when I'm already exhausted. But the beginning started out really well. Pull-ups were moving pretty good. I was moving well with especially with chest supported row. I was doing really well. That was the standout from today. Of course, I did biceps and stuff. Not as good on the dumbbell, on the concentrated preacher curls. When Max was here, I actually had someone to kind of like spot me a little bit with that, and it actually went a little bit smoother with the spotter, just because you could go to failure a lot better. But on my own, it wasn't as good as last time. But the hammer curls, I did have a weight increase today with hammer curls, and those actually went very smoothly. I was feeling the burn, especially my right bicep. I wasn't trying to like do, you know, a uni movement, like a one trick movement, but that's just what ended up happening. But yeah, altogether a really good workout. But I thought maybe I'd get, for this last little part, I'd get back on my train of weight, because before I was talking about how, you know, weight is different for all kinds of different people, and how, you know, judgment shouldn't be a part of weight, judgment shouldn't be a part of the gym. I see this sentiment all the time where there's this like eternal struggle, there's this battle where it's like there's so much fat shaming online, and people are like, you know, people are like, well, if you're bigger, like that's just your own problem. Like you can lose the weight. There's ways that people can lose weight, and people just aren't working hard enough if they're heavier set and they don't, you know, want to be. If they want to be like skinnier, they're just not putting in their grind enough. And you know, there's even that sentiment from people who used to be bigger. They're like, well, you know, I lost the weight. Other people can lose the weight too. There's this huge like negative type of reinforcement. But then there's also this flip side of the community where it's like, why would we ever judge someone that's heavy set, that's in the gym? Like, even if you see someone in the gym that is like, you know, incredibly obese, incredibly unhealthy, like 900 pounds or something, but like, if you see them on like a treadmill or something, how are you going to bash them? There's this fighting, like warring factions of people who are like, no, this is all personal choice. And then there's this other camp where it's like, yes, but the gym is a place for everyone, and we don't need to shame anyone that's coming. And I think I'm in the second one, where it's like, I'm just very, very so adverse to judging, like, well, this is of my own admission. I don't know how other people feel about it, you know, in my personal life, but from my perspective, I feel like I am so adverse to like judging other people. Be that anywhere, like religion, politics, personal choices, personal beliefs, like all those different types of things. I feel like, why is there room to judge when we don't get the full picture? I see this a lot in relationships, because like friend, lovers, family, always a lot of like problems just stem from rampant open miscommunication. Like just this like non-understanding of everything that's going on. It's never that the people are like actually incredibly like hating each other like heinously. It's just because it is so hard as humans to set ourselves in other people's shoes. And that is like such a valuable skill. If you're able to see like other people in this third person point of view, it makes you a stronger person, because you get to totally idealize, okay, why is this person angry at me? What are the factors that led up to that? You know, with as much information as you can gather. And sometimes people just hate each other inherently because they'll never understand the person's point of view. Like, they'll never understand the childhood trauma. They'll never understand the steps that led up to this. They'll never understand the person's situation. And that's why, you know, in arguments, sometimes people will just be like, I don't understand why you don't get this. And then some people, they just end the argument by saying, like, I wish I could understand, but I just can't. I can't fathom the position you're in. Because there's understanding, there's critical understanding. And that's what we need to foster as, like, a gym community, is that there's this personal sense of understanding that people will never get. There's problems with weight that people experience that I will never understand. Like health problems, like diabetes, or like different internal, like, not oddities, but like rarities, basically, that, don't consider the whole picture. Like fat loss is different for different kinds of people because metabolisms are different. You might have, different perspectives and, basically physical makeups. It's the whole thing of like genetics versus hard work. It's a combination of those two factors to be like a good athlete, a good, that build up a good physique. But it's also like, it's genetics. Like, I don't think I could ever go on stage because I don't have the genetics for it. And I don't also have the passion for it. But, like, is someone gonna judge me not for going up on stage? I mean, maybe, but do they understand the whole makeup that comes up with me? I mean, maybe now that I've put so much of myself onto the internet, but like, in reality, would people understand my personal life? No, because I'm not, I'm sharing one facet of my life, but you can't make, you can make maybe educated guesses based on the way I present myself, but at the same time, you'll never understand everything that brought me to this point. Even as much as I explained it, I can't make 1,000 videos of a whole catalog where you can make like an AI person of me that's like, okay, this is Miles' whole childhood backstory, like in a small little PDF. No, it just doesn't work that way, because there's so much that goes into me, and there's so much that goes into you, and there's so much that goes into every single person that we pass by in our lives. But people just discount that fact because it's like, well, suck it up. Like, of course everyone's going through stuff, but you just have to, like, turn the other cheek, and you just have to suck it up. And if you're going through something, you're going to get ridiculed and stuff for that. And I don't understand that. I don't understand the lack of empathy. Maybe empathy is like the key role in what can make up a great, nurturing, enduring, gym community. But I don't know if we'll ever understand that, or if it'll get to a point where the whole of humanity will evolve to this point where we all can, like, maybe I make it sound like everything should be just like holding hands and dancing in a circle, and I don't mean to say that. There's hard realities we have to face. There are foot down moments, but in my perspective, I think a lot of things can be helped by just a healthy dose of empathy and being like, okay, I see things from your point of view, even if I don't agree with it. That's a little deep. That's a little in my own head for this morning, but I'm getting my thoughts out there. I'm letting things flow. I'm letting a bunch of stuff decompress after the gym session. So I'm going to go take a decent shower, let everything just flow through, and then I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.